G'day. What if dynamic pricing favoured the buyer and not the seller? Bear with me, this could be interesting. G'day. Greetings from a hot and sunny KL after a week in cold and cloudy London. And on the flight on the way back, I had a thought, and that thought was around dynamic pricing, which of course the airlines have long been the masters of. Dynamic pricing is when you adjust your price based on the market conditions or the market demand, which usually means when demand is high, your price is high. When demand is low, you lower your prices. And what I thought was, maybe dynamic pricing could favour the buyer instead of the seller. And the reason I thought about this was because on this particular flight, three things happened. Number one, I was lucky enough to be in business class. Number two, business class was half empty. And number three, they offered on-board upgrades. Now, on-board upgrades is something that airlines have done for a long time. Malaysian Airlines have never done it. This is the first time I've seen them do it. The idea is that they get you on board, they realise they've got empty seats, and so they offer you a last-minute on-board upgrade, which is a lot cheaper than probably what you would have paid for if you bought the ticket before you got on. Now, they only offered that upgrade from economy to premium economy. They didn't offer it to business class, even though there was more than half of the seats available in business class. And I asked myself why, and I think the reason why is because they felt that the price to upgrade, or the delta between the price that these economy passengers had paid versus the business class people was too great. And if they made it what would be sort of the fair market conditions on the day to fill those seats, the people in business class would have paid much, much more, and the people in economy today buying it on that upgrade are getting it at a lot less, thus annoying and pissing off essentially your business class passengers. But what about if they offered the business class passengers a rebate? And that rebate was in the form of a flight credit, essentially. So you don't get cash back, you get a credit on your next flight. Let's play this out. Let's say the business class ticket was, I don't know, $4,500. And on the day, they realize half the seats are empty, and they say to themselves, well, what about if we now set the price of that seat in business class for $3,000? How many people could we get in economy to upgrade? And let's say, for argument's sake, we get them all to accept the price of an economy ticket, which was $2,000. Now they're only paying an extra $1,000, and they're getting a business class seat for $3,000. I've paid $4,500. I'm pissed off because they've got it for $3,000 essentially, and I've paid $4,500. Now, I wouldn't be annoyed if I got a $1,500 rebate. And of course, again, it's a flight credit, so you have to use it on your next flight with the airline, and it has to be used within 6 months or something like that. So, there'll be a chance, I guess, that maybe only 75% of the people would even use it. The dynamic pricing models that airlines the yield management type of tools they use, I'm sure they could have a formula that would calculate the benefit of doing that. I don't know that anyone's ever done it. Certainly airlines would be one of the first people to do it because they've got, I think, the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure to do it. But I think in any business, think about when you're doing dynamic pricing and when you're adjusting your prices up in a time of demand, or when you've got the opportunity maybe to do upgrades like in this case, what about the people that have paid full price? How can you make sure that they benefit? How can you have a customer-driven dynamic pricing model? And I actually think by doing that up front, because a lot of people wouldn't even question it, a lot of people who are in that higher tier and paid the full price already, they maybe wouldn't even be aware of it. And you hit them up all of a sudden and say, here is your dynamic pricing credit because we've done upgrades for other people. Now, again, you'd have to check the impact that it has further down the track. Are people going to stop booking and they're going to wait for the dynamic pricing? No, because I'm getting a rebate. Whereas before, I might be tempted to wait until the last minute if I think the flight's going to be empty. So, just a thought. Dynamic pricing could actually benefit the buyer instead of the seller. A little bit complex, but I actually think worth looking at. What do you reckon? Ever heard of anything like that being done before? If not, do you think it would work? And if not, why not? Do let me know in the comments below. I do thank you for your time, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya. I wanna turn the